We're joined again for Friday's Country Viewpoint program for the Wool Report with Michell Wool's Andrew Partridge. Andrew, how are you going today?
Good, thank you, Ricky.
And Andrew, the wool market, she's still a bit in the doldrums, but hopefully we can find some glimmers of light in amongst the latest data.
Yeah, it's been a sort of funny enough week. The market was generally weaker across the board, but the closing sort of sale on Wednesday actually there was a bit better tone in the room, and it was a better spread of buyers. So there was almost like an inkling of we're getting near the bottom again. And when you look at the EMI, it's dropped that 20 cents back to 12.40, which is pretty much sitting back to where it launched off previously. So it's sort of sitting back on prices where there was a little bit of support before. In US terms, obviously it's sitting around that $8 mark, and seems an eon ago when we were talking the $10 US, which is my favourite number. But so it's just indicative of how tough things are going at the moment overseas, Ricky, and we've just got to bear in.
Yeah, I guess so. Is there a bit of a two-speed market going on when you look at crossbreds? There doesn't seem to be as much damage in that area as in the better microns?
No, that's right. Yeah, and I think we might have been alluding to this with obviously crossbred prices being that low, and we've heard instances overseas there's a bit more demand for crossbred wool, so they're thinking about including more crossbred wool in those broader yarns and broader products. So there is a little bit more demand there at these levels, and prices won't subside too much further. But yeah, it's just that finer microns, and particularly in those 18 microns and finer with the high CVHs, which high CVH is like a high mid-break, and it's mills when they're processing wool, they're trying for a number around the 45 CVH, so they get a nice even top. And the market's been oversupplied, obviously, with over long wool and high mid-break wool, and unfortunately, for want of a better word, they don't process that wool that well, and discounts are getting greater.
Well, what did we see in the pass-in rate? How many people turned their nose up at the prices and said, we'll have another go some other time?
There's certain brokers that actually certainly draw a line in the sand. We've been sort of selling and repenting mostly, but can't sort of see, when you look at that crystal ball, 2, 3, 4, 6 months' time with the way UK is and these sort of things, you'd be a brave man to sort of sit on wool. But, look, a passing rate of 14%, it's certainly not negligible, is it? So it's there's a bit of passing wool going on, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens eventually.
So you're saying the buyers, to some extent, were thinking a bird in the hand's worth two in the bush?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. So particularly top makers and those guys would keep a bit of an eye on them, because for want of a better word, they're like the bottom dwellers. They just buy wool at various specifications just to make general tops. So you've got companies like Modiano's and TNU, big top makers. When they're buying wool, it's generally a good sign that they can actually make tops and clear it out the door. And then you get the better specified stuff, which is getting less and less of. There's going to be better premiums for those which go to the more delicate sort of yarns and cloths, of course. Yeah,
I guess it might be unkind to call them bottom dwellers. Maybe we could call them benthic or exotic buyers. If you're looking at the seafloor, you see some exotic species down there. They're the exotic buyers.
We need them, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about what we've got on offer next week? I imagine there's probably a little less enthusiasm to put bales up on offer, so we're not going to see 50,000 next week.
No, I don't think we are. We've got 2-day sales nationally going forward, and usually creep in on a three-day sale now, so we're back to twos. Mid-30,000 offerings, and nothing's really going to change for the ensuing when we've got the rain and the weather the way it is. And New South Wales, there's wool banked up on sheep's backs and on bales on farms. So there's a bit of a backup in the system, and I'm hearing sort of South Australia, Victoria, shearing's about a month behind, and I believe in New South Wales it's sort of 6 weeks behind. So there is some wool that's going to be shorn and needs to be shorn, and it's banking up for sure.
Well, if it's banking up, maybe there's the short-term opportunity there in the market. As always, check out your own information before buying or selling. Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool, thanks for joining us today on Flow.
Thanks, Ricky.